Well, I'm not even sure I have words to describe what I am about to show you here, but suffice it to say, it is the absolute wildest campaign attack ad I have ever seen in all of my decades watching political campaigns. In an electoral race that is in some ways the most defining and fascinating race in the U.S. at the moment. Now, the ad I'm about to show you is AI generated, of course, and it is so unbelievably over the top that barely 20 minutes after the campaign behind it put it up on the internet, they pulled it back down. So fierce was the criticism over what they put to air. And it was generated by the campaign for Andrew Cuomo, the Democrat turned independent who is desperately hoping to keep the radical Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani from becoming the next mayor of New York City in a couple of weeks. Now, I saw this ad, and I thought, no way, this has to be a G-up. Some edgy pranksters have come up with this and put it out there on the Cuomo's behalf, but no, I checked it out. It's got the official authorized by Cuomo tag at the end, and news reports have confirmed that the video was indeed a real deal product of the campaign. And because the internet is forever, well, I'm going to be able now to bring you a bit of this 2-minute-long magnum opus of a campaign attack ad, which may as well be called Criminals for Zohran. Here's a little bit of it.
Zohran Mamdani's opponents want you to believe he's an inexperienced radical whose policies will make New York City more dangerous. But what do his actual supporters think?
Mamdani isn't crazy.
He's just trying to even the playing field.
Give everyone a fair shot. Sure, he said multiple times we need to defund the police, but that was just a metaphor.
And yes, he did say crime is a social construct, but that was also a metaphor.
His main backer, the Democratic Socialists' ideas are common sense, such as
Decriminalizing misdemeanors, like shoplifting,
trespassing,
And drunk driving.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's a bit much even for me, though I have to say the bit where he shoves a fistful of rice into his gob is a nice touch. A call out to the cringeworthy videos Mamdani does eating with his hands to emphasize his ethnic authenticity. But let's take a little bit more of the ad, shall we?
Mamdani is finally lowering jail sentences.
guilty!
But Mamdani says you're free to go.
Who cares if legalizing prostitution statistically leads to an increase for sex trafficking of women and young girls by 70%?
You can't have safety without equality.
For unlawful abiding citizens like us, globalize the intifada.
I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal.
I'm a criminal.
Yep. I'm a criminal.
For Zohran.
For Zohran Mamdani!
I didn't have a real job until I was 30, but sure, give me the keys to the city. What's the worst that can happen?
Paid for by Cuomo for NYC.
Wow, how good is that? I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. And was the ad over the top? Sure. Was it racist, like some people say? I mean, The Guardian said it was, go figure. But frankly, you have to admire the efforts of the producers to make sure the criminal class was, shall we say, plenty diverse. Was it a sign of desperation on the part of the Cuomo camp? Well, no doubt, because all the betting markets and the polls suggest Mamdani's going to romp it in. But was the ad inaccurate? Well, look, if people are mad at it, it's not because it's wrong, but because it hits too close to home. Zohran Mamdani is the distilled essence of where young radical leftism is going in America and where that force could take the wider Democrat Party. Mamdani has said over and over and over again that he wants to, yes, defund the police, which is barely the worst of it. The other day, Mamdani, himself a Muslim, posed up with Imam Siraj Wahaj at a Brooklyn mosque. Now, normally, nothing wrong with that except for, oh yeah, Wahaj is a legendary supporter of terrorism and was an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 plot to blow up the World Trade Center. Yet, again, as I say, all the polls suggest New Yorkers are eating this up. A combination of foreign-born New Yorkers and Trump-loathing locals seem ready to push him over the line. And at a recent debate, Mamdani was ready to punch that Trump button hard.
Look, Donald Trump ran on 3 promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history. He ran on going after his political enemies, and he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the 3rd piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the 1st and 2nd piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers, I will fight him every single step of the way.
And oh, how they cheered. And you know what? I'm starting to think about New York. Well, to hell with it. Let them have it. In fact, yeah, let's do this. Now, this program is generally not in the business of making formal political endorsements, but in this case, you know what? We're going to make an exception. That's right. The U.S. report is endorsing Democrat, socialist, and subway gourmand Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City because you know what? This crypto-Marxist who wants to destroy the city's tax base and open government-run grocery stores and everything else is exactly, precisely what New Yorkers, and I once was myself, deserve. Look, here's an example of what's going on here. For years and years, African migrants had been selling knockoff handbags, trinkets, and drugs at this open-air market in Canal Street in Lower Manhattan. This footage from political commentator Savannah Hernandez. And some of them even would go so far as to assault those who tried to film what was going on. You'd think this was a blight. You'd think New Yorkers would be grateful to the feds for cleaning up this eyesore, but no. Guess what happened when ICE agents moved in to raid the markets the other day? Well, guess what? Anti-ICE protesters swarmed the raid, swarmed the officers, and tried to block agents from arresting the illegals. And guess what? They also had a few choice words for the ICE officers. Charming.
Short-ass mother. Short-ass mother. You're ugly as too.
Yeah, this guy yelling right at the police. Everyone's just yelling shame.
Hey, bro. That's right. Don't look at me anymore.
Shame! Shame!
Oh,
shame! Shame!
Oh,
shame!
Sorry,
tough guy. I'm sorry. You must be real afraid right now.
Ah, yes, how much college debt are they paying off? Then later they held a protest, of course. Well, guess what? Canal Street is now cleaned up. Look at that. And according to Homeland Security, the 9 illegal aliens arrested in the raid, some of them having violent rap sheets on charges including robbery, burglary, domestic violence, assaulting law enforcement, counterfeiting, drug trafficking, drug possession, and forgery. Well, they're all in jail. So, you know what? If New York's lefties think that having some criminal migrants selling counterfeit goods adds vibrancy to their urban milieu, I say good luck to them. Let them have their Mamdani and let him turn the city into exactly what they dream of. Because, you know, as the great H.L. Mencken once said, democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard.